我们请到德国纽博格林最资深的赛车手，拿了3次纽北24小时耐力赛冠军，多次刷新纽北圈速纪录，跑最多的男人 Frank 给我们一份独家难得的纽北小指南。我们看看到底如何跑好这条世界最难赛道。
Hardest part for the complete drive line, be quick over here or end up in the barrier. I'm driving the track since 25 years now, 30 years in the race car, 22 years as a development driver of Audi. Okay guys, welcome to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. It's a very challenging track, very long distance track, close to 21 kilometers. And today we just started here from the T13, starting the lap. Then very sharp corner here, trying to accelerate downhill here into the quick right-hand corner. The heavier cars like SUV cars, electric cars, it's a slight lift. In Hatzenbach, left, right. There you can check out the direction changes quite well. The cars which don't have any sport tires suffer there a lot because they feel kind of lazy and like a lorry. Then hit the curbs here, a very high curb. This is one very important corner here, the Flugplatz area. Cars with a lot of downforce and high grip level, cornering, will be close to be flat. Very much downhill here, one of the quickest areas heading up to Schwedenkreuz. This corner, Schwedenkreuz, before Arenberg, with the race cars in GT3 which have 500 horsepower only, but a lot more aerodynamics, less weight and race tires, is completely flat in 6th gear. With a road car, you have to brake quite hard here, especially with the Xiaomi, because there's no downforce but a huge top speed. So that's a huge difference. Comparing these kind of different cars, it looks like a different track. Then it's very hard braking, long-term cornering around the Arenberg corner and downhill into Fuchsröhre, a very quick part, into the dip here. The car goes into the compression, heading uphill to the very quick left-hander with a very high curb on the left-hand side. If you have to go around, then it's going very slow. It's going slower and slower. One of the slowest area here in Adenauer Forst and Wehrseifen later on here is the only two parts where we use second gear. Much different to the Grand Prix tracks today, where we have a lot of stop and go areas like 6th gear, stopping second gear, 6th gear, stopping second gear. This is why I like these old school tracks. This is everything floating and like 4th, 5th, 6th gear, high speeds. Most of the areas are average 200 Ks, which is quite different to the modern tracks. Then we continue, that's Metzgesfeld here, going downhill to Kallenhardt, direction Wehrseifen, as I told you before, heavy braking for second gear. Everything is downhill here and very hard for the brakes. Latest in Breitscheid Bridge, you discover if the brake is reliable or not. Some of the non-sporty cars we had today, SUVs which were not built for the Nordschleife, were suffering from some brake failures. Bridge, the Breitscheid Bridge, that's the lowest part of the track, going uphill to Hohe Acht. It's 300 meters height difference uphill, and here now engine power is very important. Very exhausting if you do it once by bicycle. It's much more uphill than you would expect after driving it with the car. This, by the way, is the Niki Lauda corner where he burned his body, and when the Formula One decided that the track is too old school and too quick for the Formula One cars. Heading into Bergwerk, which is one of the most important corners here. If you have a bad exit on this corner, for whatever reason, driver mistake or not enough power, going in too quick, too ambitious on brakes, then you mess up all the way up to the Steilkurve and it costs you a second and second and second. This one is very, very quick. It's called Brave Corner. For the ones who are brave, they will be quick over here or end up in the barrier. If they are lucky, they end up here in Steilkurve with a few tenths in the pocket. This one is the very famous Caracciola corner. The cars jump a lot, especially when they leave this banking, and the wheels are spinning, the inside wheels are spinning, hitting down the floor again, and this is where the drive shafts, the transmission, the gearbox suffer a lot. So this is the hardest part for the complete drive line. We're heading up to Hohe Acht, the highest point of the track. From there onwards we go slightly downhill again. Direction Wippermann, quick direction changes here, cutting the curb here, kind of a low curb. This is the only curb which is kind of low and drivable, 1 out of 4 or 5. Going into Brünnchen again, a big spectator place which is more or less fully booked, not only on the races but as well on Sundays and Saturdays during the tourist traffic. From Brünnchen you go uphill into Pflanzgarten here, running into a very exhausting and challenging part of the track. Pflanzgarten, we've got 2 jumps, one small one which is in 5th gear, and then we've got a much bigger jump after this double right-hand corner. A lot of direction changes in 5th gear, high speeds, 230, 240. We are jumping, landing into the springs, into a dip, more or less into the bump stops. So if there are any issues regarding aerodynamic balance, suspension balance, and so on, this will be the critical part where the car will suffer a lot and where the lap time is fading away. Then it's a very quick straight. It's 6th gear here, 1 downshift to 5th gear in the race car, and a very quick right-hand corner, aero corner. There you can find out what the cars can do regarding aerodynamic performance. And this is as important as we were talking about the Bergwerk corner, because a long straight is following. If you mess up the last corner, you will lose a lot of time onto the straight. One of the fastest area, the long straight Dettinger Höhe, which is one of 2 top speed areas. If once you reach it with 350 without any, more or less any aerodynamic helpers like huge wings or something like that. And this slight kink here is then a proper corner. This is flat, kind of easy flat. Then we are heading to a dip where the car dives deep and quick into the suspension, and it's often running into the bump stops there as well. 300 k's on the clock. Very quick chicanes here. Tiergarten chicane, we cut the curbs here on the inside of the right-hand corner. 1 of 4 corners where you hit the curbs, Tiergarten, and there you can check out how the suspension works. You hit it hard, and once the car is balanced and calm over it, you've got a well-developed suspension. Then you're heading out. That's it. That was the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Judging the full electric Chinese cars is kind of easy after these 2 test days. All of them seem to have very high level basics and potential. Fine-tuning is missing here and there, sometimes more, sometimes less. The potential of the cars is huge, and yeah, you are invited to develop the cars around the Nürburgring. I think this is always a good benefit. And on top of that, once the car survives an endurance test around the Nordschleife, doing flat out like we do with other manufacturers, 8,000 kilometers, with failures of the driveline, you can be sure that on the road, on the standard road, it will last for another 200,000 kilometers. I think this is for sure the best test track you can have. The first advice for a beginner would be that you take it easy, take your time, be patient to learn the track. This track is dangerous. It's had seen a couple of accidents already over the last decades, and I think respect is one of the main priorities you should bring once you run the track here. See you at the Nordschleife anytime you want to.
未来重返纽北，懂车帝玩车社区将通过模拟器大赛、赛道积分赛选拔高手，挑战世界顶级赛道，更有专业内容、驾驶教程、明星车手教学助力提升。关注懂车帝玩车社区，一起直通纽北。